You think you are thinking. You are not. You are replaying. The same conversation from 3 years ago. The same mistake that nobody remembers except you. The same scenario that never happened and never will. You call it processing. You call it reflection. You call it being deep. Psychologists have a different word for it, rumination. And it is not making you smarter. It is not helping you heal. It is not preparing you for anything. It is destroying you slowly, quietly, and you are calling it thinking. Let's be precise. Thinking and rumination are not the same thing. Thinking moves forward. Thinking analyzes, concludes, acts. Rumination loops. A rumination revisits, replays, repeats, and arrives nowhere. Psychology defines rumination as repetitive, passive focus on distress, its causes and consequences, without moving toward solutions. That last part matters. Without moving toward solutions, you are not solving anything. You are not gaining insight. You are not becoming wiser. You are sitting in the same mental room, rearranging the same furniture every single day. And your brain rewards you for it. That is the trap. Rumination feels productive because it feels like effort. Your brain cannot tell the difference between thinking about a problem and solving a problem. Both feel like work. Only one actually is. Susan Nolan Huxema, the psychologist who spent her entire career studying rumination, proved this in study after study. Ruminators do not solve problems better. They solve problems worse. More time spent replaying does not equal more clarity. It equals more distortion. Every loop adds another layer of emotion to the memory. Every replay makes the event feel more recent, more threatening, more defining than it actually was. You are not remembering accurately. You are reconstructing. And every reconstruction makes it worse. Here is what rumination does to your brain physically. Your amygdala, the threat detection center, cannot distinguish between a real threat happening now and a remembered threat you are replaying. When you ruminate, your amygdala fires as if the event is happening right now. Your cortisol spikes. Your body enters stress response. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking and decision making, shuts down. You are literally making yourself less capable of thinking clearly by thinking too much. Read that again. Rumination, the thing you do instead of acting, is biologically designed to prevent clear thinking. And you do it voluntarily, every day, for hours. Your brain has a default mode network. It activates when you are not focused on an external task. Neuroscientists call it the wandering mind network. In healthy people, it generates creativity, planning, imagination. In ruminators, it generates loops, the same loops, over and over. The default mode network gets hijacked by unresolved emotional content and turns into a machine that replays your worst moments on a loop you did not choose and cannot stop. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience, but here is where personal responsibility enters. You are feeding it. Every time you revisit that argument instead of working, every time you replay that failure instead of acting, every time you choose the loop over the task, you are strengthening the neural pathway of rumination. You are training your brain to loop. Weakness is not inherent. It is practiced. Let's talk about what this is actually costing you. Not emotionally, practically. Cost number 1, time. The average ruminant spends 2 to 3 hours per day in repetitive negative thought loops. That is 14 to 21 hours per week. That is a part-time job, paid in anxiety, producing nothing. In 1 year, you will have spent between 700 and 1,000 hours replaying events that are over, people who have moved on, and scenarios that will never happen. 1,000 hours. Think about what 1,000 hours of deliberate skill building would produce. Think about what 1,000 hours of focused work would build. You chose the loop instead. Cost number 2, decision making. Rumination does not clarify decisions. It paralyzes them. The more you loop, the more options feel dangerous. The more outcomes feel uncertain. The more your brain convinces you that action is premature, that you need to think more, that you are not ready yet. You are never ready because readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. And rumination destroys your ability to decide. Cost number 3, identity. This is the most dangerous cost. When you ruminate long enough, the loop becomes part of who you are. You become the person who cannot let things go. You become the person who is still affected by things that happened years ago. You become the person whose past is always present. And then you protect that identity because it explains everything. Why you are stuck. Why you cannot move. Why nothing works for you. The loop becomes the excuse. The rumination becomes the reason. And you stop being a person with a problem and become the problem itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote the Meditations during one of the most catastrophic periods in Roman history. Plague, war, political betrayal, personal loss. He had every reason to ruminate. He did not write about his pain. He wrote about his response to his pain. There is a line in Meditations that cuts through everything. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Not you have power over the past. Not you have power over what happened to you. Power over your mind. Stoicism understood something that modern psychology took centuries to prove. The event is not the problem. Your relationship with the event is the problem. Epictetus taught one thing above everything else. Separate what is in your control from what is not. The past, not in your control. Other people's actions, not in your control. What happened to you, not in your control. Your response right now, completely in your control. What you do with the next hour, completely in your control. whether you loop or act, completely in your control. Rumination is the refusal to make that separation. It is the insistence that if you think about it long enough, you can change it. You cannot. The past is the only thing in the universe that is absolutely, permanently, completely fixed. Everything else can change. The past cannot. And you are spending your present, which can change, trying to alter your past, which cannot. That is not reflection. That is not processing. That is insanity dressed as introspection. So what do you actually do? Not philosophy, not motivation, actual mechanisms. Step 1, name it in real time. The moment you catch yourself in a loop, say it out loud or in your head. This is rumination. I am not thinking. I am looping. This single act activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, and partially disengages the amygdala response. Naming the pattern interrupts it. Not permanently, not completely, but enough to create a gap. That gap is where choice lives. Step 2, the 5-minute rule. Give yourself exactly 5 minutes to think about the thing. Set a timer. For 5 minutes, think about it fully. Feel it. Analyze it. Do whatever your brain wants to do with it. When the timer ends, you are done. Not because the problem is solved, because the time is up. This is not avoidance. This is structured processing. The difference between controlled fire and a wildfire. Step 3, immediate physical interruption. When the loop starts and you cannot name it away, move your body. Not because exercise solves emotional problems, because your amygdala cannot maintain full activation during intense physical effort. The stress response that rumination triggers requires a physical discharge. Walk, run, do push-ups, stand up and move. The loop needs stillness to survive. Deny it stillness. Step 4, replace the loop with a task, any task. The default mode network activates in the absence of focused external tasks. Give it a task, not a meaningful task, not a productive task, any task. Wash dishes, organize something, read one page. The network cannot simultaneously generate a rumination loop and process an external task. One will win. Make sure it is the task. You are not a deep thinker. You are a looper, and the loop is not serving you. It never solved anything. It never changed anything. It never prepared you for anything. It only kept you busy enough to avoid the one thing that would actually change your situation. Action. Marcus Aurelius did not have time to ruminate. He had an empire to run, a plague to manage, a war to fight every single day. He chose presence over replay. He chose response over rumination. He chose action over analysis. You have one life, and every loop you run is a minute of that life spent in a room that does not exist, reliving a moment that is over, with people who have moved on. The past is closed. The next hour is open. What you do with it is the only question that has ever mattered. No sympathy, no excuses, just truth.